Hey, Water's Edge Allen. I'm John David, and I really enjoyed talking to many of your people here a couple days ago, today. I got to talk to you about Matthew 25:25, where it's the parable of the talents. And if you remember the parable of the talents, you have Jesus as the master, and he has his 3 servants or slaves who come to him, and he gives them an amount of money equal to 20 years' salary. Would be 1 talent. He gives them some money while he goes on a long journey. And a couple of them, the first 2, they go and put their money to work, and they double it. And whenever Jesus comes back, whenever the master comes back, he says, account for it. And they brought it forward, and he said, well done, good and faithful servant. I'm going to give you more to work with. And I want to tell you, a lot of times there are preachers who will take that, and they'll tell you, if you just give more money to Water's Edge, then more money will show up in your bank account. And that would be wonderful, but not always true. But what God does do is if you'll use your gifts that he has given you to serve him, then he'll start working to give you more opportunities to use those gifts to serve him, to reach more people, and it's an awesome thing. Now, the 3rd servant, he came forward, and he said, you're a hard man. You're an evil man. I know you are mean, so I got scared, and I hid this talent in the ground. Here it's back. I'm done. I'm good. We're even. I'm out of here. And the master gets upset with this servant. He says, if you really thought I was mean and evil, you would have at least put it to work. And he called him on his lie, really, is what he did. But then there's some truth into what the servant said. He really was afraid. There was fear there. And the thing to know is that fear may have very well come from the fact that Jesus gave to each of them according to their abilities, and he got the least, which means he had the least ability. Maybe this guy thought he was a screw-up. Maybe his whole life, everything he's did is messed up, and he was afraid he was going to lose that money, so he didn't use it. Or maybe he's a slave, right? And this is his first time to get a chance to be away from the master and do whatever he wanted. Maybe he was afraid of losing the one moment he had for himself. But the thing is, he was afraid, and fear ruled his life. And I need you to know that fear is the enemy, and it comes from the enemy, because we have a God who says, I have given you a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. That is what is alive in your heart. And if fear is dwelling there, it comes from the enemy, and that's something we got to work on, all right? And I talk to a lot of people about my own fear, and that fear is my children getting hurt. And I got to tell you, 4 years ago, God worked on me with that. My son Caleb was diagnosed with diabetes, and he's been living with that for 4 years. And God really worked on me to tell me, do not put your spirit of fear in that child, because I want to use him, because he's my child. You see, he has to prick his fingers every day to check his sugar and do all that kind of thing. Well, my son had his hands pierced for that boy. He's mine, and I will never let him go. So he's going to serve me. So my wife and I have worked hard to tell this wonderful child, Caleb, that he has been baptized, and he's the Savior's, and he will be forever, and that boy lives without fear. And I think it's time for us to start doing the same thing. Stop looking like the 3rd servant. Stop burying your talents in the ground. Dig them up and use them to serve your God. Sing for your God. Build for your God. Live for your God. And reach out to the neighbor for your God. Fear, get rid of it. It's not supposed to be there, because God says, I have given you a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. You've been bought at a price. Serve me. So let's get to work. Get to work, Water's Edge Allen. No fear. God bless you.